probability of a recession?
Right now, it's let's say by year end, I'd say about 50-50.
We all know that the economy is unpredictable, but what's even more unpredictable is how our minds will react during a recession. Will we panic and make irrational decisions, or will we take a step back, assess the situation and make sound choices? Whether you're thriving or struggling right now, it's important to develop a recession-proof mindset. To do that, we need to look at the field of neuroscience so you can put yourself on sure footing if the worst case scenario does unfold. You see, there is a unique brain training technique that works in as little as 10 minutes a day to help you build mental resilience and manage stress. And thankfully, I've got a free download for you that steps you through it. But first, we need to understand why we react the way we do when the heat gets turned up and we start second guessing our decisions. The truth is, the recent news about the economy may have triggered your fight or flight response, long-term activation of your stress response system, and overexposure to your stress hormones in the coming months, like cortisol, disrupts almost all of your body's processes. It not only increases your risk of health problems such as anxiety, depression, headaches, and digestive imbalances, it alters the way you think and make decisions. Decisions that you could pay a high price for later if you're not careful. And I'll discuss why this is key shortly. Recession-proof in your mind is to become resilient and get in tune with your behavioral responses so you can manage. It doesn't mean you won't ever fall on hard times. That depends on how well your brain handles stress and adapts to rapid change. And this next part is really important. When something triggers a stress response, blood flows from your prefrontal cortex to your amygdala. Resilience is associated with an increase in activity of the prefrontal cortex, which is in charge of executive functioning, decision-making, and emotional regulation. We make our best decisions when it's activated because we're calm and we think clearly. But depending on your past response to financial distress, any worst-case scenario news that comes your way may activate your amygdala, which sends a distress signal to release adrenaline into your bloodstream. Now, adrenaline isn't all bad. It can help to fine-tune your focus, heighten your abilities, and make you feel invincible. It's there to help you get out of immediate danger. The problem occurs when you're constantly in this state of fight or flight and your stress response is stuck in the on position without respite, like constantly watching the news, the stock market, or scrolling through social media. It's like a car motor that's been idling for too long and for too high. It affects the way you perceive the world. When you're constantly in a state of high alert, your brain is trying to prioritize what it does and doesn't need for survival. Here you're prone to make rash decisions that you may regret later because you're focused on short-term safety, not long-term goals. Your brain is overriding your ability to make logical decisions. Depending on what caused your stress response to be triggered and past trauma you may have experienced, it typically takes 20 to 30 minutes for your body to return to normal and calm down. I've even got an exercise for you to do this, but first, what is resilience and why do you need it right now? I want you to think of resilience like a rubber band. When something bad happens, a rubber band stretches. It may feel uncomfortable, but it's normal. But if we lack emotional resilience, or an event brings up past trauma, it snaps. Which is why what I say to you next is incredibly important. There is one thing that you must do now to create a recession-proof mindset that makes you more flexible and adaptable to change. You must reduce your susceptibility to stress. This can be achieved by mentally rehearsing the next steps that you need to take to ride out whatever wave is coming next. I call it the FRF method and it's detailed in a free guide I've got for you below. Visualization helps you to develop one of the most important skills that you'll ever learn, and that is to increase neuroplasticity, which is the ability of the brain to form and reorganize synaptic connections, especially in response to learning or experience. According to Nestler, who has made this study of resilience his sole focus, susceptibility to stress is a failure of plasticity. Mindfulness meditation, like what I outline in the guide, has been shown to increase thickness in the prefrontal cortex and increase neuroplasticity, which is why I discuss little known factors that increase your susceptibility to stress at length in my book Unstoppable. By using the FRF method to mentally rehearse the challenge you have to go through or may go through, and the successful completion of your goals on a daily basis within 10 minutes a day, you're achieving 4 things that have lasting benefits. 1, you're increasing neuroplasticity and resilience. 2, you're activating your prefrontal cortex so you regain emotional control. This is key because according to Richard Davidson in his book, The Emotional Life of Your Brain, the amount of activation in the left prefrontal region of a resilient person can be 30 times that in someone who is not resilient. 3, you're tricking your subconscious mind to think that you've been here before and thrived. Hence, there's nothing to fear or worry about, which means it will actively seek out opportunities and you can make whatever plans you need to methodically make. This stops you from assuming the worst possible outcome. It will also help you to more quickly in the future turn off negative emotions once they're turned on or triggered by a stock market plunge or a dip in sales. 4, you'll reframe current events and foster optimism. Positive emotions lower arousal levels, increase creativity, and broadens our attention so we can see the full picture. And here's the kicker. Realistic optimists typically see as much of the bad information as a pessimistic person does, but with a critical distinction. They have the ability to rapidly disengage from negative emotions and find solutions. Here's what I want you to remember. Just like you work out your muscles at the gym, you must work out your brain and form new neural connections to get from where you are to where you want to be. Think about what happens to your muscles when you stop working out for a period of weeks. They atrophy due to disuse, making you weak. Failure to mentally rehearse your goals and see positive outcomes is like skipping the gym while expecting to get lean and fit. The bottom line is this. There are always opportunities in a downturn, but now is the time to take decisive action to mentally prepare yourself. It's time to recession-proof your brain for what's ahead. Download the free guide below that will set you on the right path today.